All right, welcome everyone. Welcome to our weekly Monday night team Zoom for Team Win with
stability of your times and the strength of yourself.
Okay, I got them. You're muted, Ellen.
All right, let's start over. Welcome everyone. Welcome. This is our weekly team Zoom. I do this Zoom every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern time for those of you in my organization. I'm Ellen Winn. I've been a team leader with DAC since June of 2018, and I'm your senior team leader. That means that I've been here longer than anybody else in the organization. I got started through a friend sharing a post on Facebook. It intrigued me, and I asked some questions, got in front of the business partner presentation back 4 years ago and got started, and it's been a great ride. Well, I'm glad you're here. We got a lot of folks coming in right now. My co-host Harlequin Murray is out in Las Vegas tonight. She's getting to see Tony Robbins tomorrow, so I'm really excited for her to be able to be a part of that experience. So she doesn't have the same internet connection that she normally does at home. So if things are a little bit different, that is why. But I'm going to go ahead and get us into screen share mode and do as I normally do each week, which is start off with our top recruiters. Make sure I've got that queued up in the background here to go. I do. 1 second. And screen share. Come back full screen. All right. All right, we should be good to go on screen share. We got a lot of folks not on camera. Let me see who I can see on camera. Janet, can you see my screen? My team recognition screen?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, awesome.
10 got approved and 1 got denied.
All right, guys, if you will, please make sure you're muted so
Wow.
we can have a quiet Zoom.
Well,
And we're gonna get
now
started
I'm
with
like,
team
shoot,
recognition.
okay, I paid
Harlequin,
it
can
forward
you
now,
help with
Lord.
that?
Okay, open up some doors for Sister Girl, because I'm ready again.
Whoever's talking, Sister Girl, we can hear your conversation. Please mute yourself. All right, Harlequin, are you with me? And you hearing?
Yeah, Ellen, if you click on the security button, or actually just underneath all of the participants, there's 3 buttons where you can set it where to mute upon entry. I don't see that on my cell phone that I'm using tonight.
Yeah, I don't see it on mine either. It's share screen, chat.
Okay. All right, then I'll
Unmute.
just mute everybody as I let them in.
Thank you very much. All right, we'll get started with our weekly team leaderboard. So this is for recruiting, and this is for the week of May 5th through May 11th. And here we have our top 5. On the left of leaderboards, everybody that recruited more than one. In first place, we had Raven Mark. Congratulations. Good numbers there. Eric Johnson and I tied for second place with 7 recruits each. Congratulations, Eric. In third place, we had Katina Willis with 4 new agent recruits. Fourth place, Chris Bartalis with 3 new agent recruits. In fifth place, we had a 5-way tie, each with 2 new agent recruits, and that's David Bryant, Justin Birch, Bruce Campbell, Richard Heraldez, and Ronnie McKellar. So congratulations to all of you having 2 new recruits each. And on the right side of the leaderboard with 1 new agent recruit, we had Eric Brooks, Rodney Brooks, Peggy Evans, Cheryl Henderson, Sheldon Hill, Kyla Johnson, Joseph Jones III, Keith Calley Sr., Kevin McIver, Harlequin Murray, Steve Podhauser, Ulysses Tomlin, Alicia Wall, and Brian Winston, each with 1 new agent for the week. So congratulations to all of you. I'm muting my phone, making sure I don't get interrupted there. You know, recruiting is a lifeline of our business. I'm going to get into a couple of examples here in just a few minutes, but I want to touch on something that I keep covering week after week because I want to make sure this message gets out. And that is that we are moving away from using the bankbreezy.com domain, as you see here in the top left of the screen. All of us still have a bankbreezy.com/RID. We all have that domain available to us, but we need to move away from it. One, we're not going to be the only organization using Bank Breezy in the near future. In fact, we have other companies that are starting to use bankbreezy.com as a co-branded funding partner. So we need to move away from using the bankbreezy.com domain, period. It is not co-branded, but when you move over and use the David Allen Capital URL, our links, our funding links, when you click on whether you're on the self-employed, the business capital, or lines of credit, when you click on apply now, all of those take you over to this application, which is co-branded with Bank Breezy. So it's still Bank Breezy. It's still the same application as you would get if you went to bankbreezy.com, but this is co-branded. And this is the way that other companies will be using Bank Breezy. If we introduce another company that has a big direct sales team, you can get commissioned off of whatever business they bring forward for the life of their account, right? But they're going to have the ability to co-brand their company, John's Finance, with Bank Breezy, or Amway with Bank Breezy, whatever sales organization it is that might come forward and say they would like to market our funding platform, or same as our relationship with Bank Breezy, that funding platform, they'll be able to co-brand it too. So just wanted to give that example again as a reminder. If you're using bankbreezy.com, please start redirecting people over to David Allen Capital site. Now, I want to share a little bit on the recruiting here. I said I'd share a story on that. Those of you that know my story know that I worked for Domino's Pizza from 1989 to 1997. I started in entry-level management. I quickly worked my way up through their channels. I started at minimum wage back as a manager trainee with them. But I came from experience in the restaurant industry. I'd been a general manager for a local restaurant, but Domino's policy was you had to start at the entry level and work your way through. So I did that and worked my way through to upper level supervision, to where I moved into the training department. I was a regional training director, as Harlequin usually shares on my introduction each week. And then I was also operations director with them. So I played both roles, from training director to operations director, over the entire state of Georgia, where we had 74 corporate stores. But I want to talk about Domino's specifically because of their business model, right? They started with one single store in Ypsilanti, Michigan in 1961, 60 or 61, I can't remember. But with that, they started with one store. And with one store, you can only make so many pizzas and you can only handle so many customers. So their method of distribution was to open additional stores. And every time they opened an additional store, they were able to take that cookie cutter model from the first store and duplicate that in the second store. And that second store could potentially generate as much or more sales than the first location, and so on and so on. And therefore, they went from opening up their own corporate stores to a franchisee model, where they started letting other people that wanted to be business owners come in and be franchisees with Domino's. In fact, when I left Domino's in 1997, I actually went through their franchise development school. I was considering franchising. I was wanting to purchase a couple of stores here in my local community, actually the two stores that I got started with. But by the time I went through franchise development school and was financially in a position to make that move, they had changed their corporate structure and had decided that they were no longer going to be franchising the Atlanta market. So they offered me Alabama. I said, no, thanks. I'm staying in Georgia, where I grew up. And that ended my career path with Domino's. But the model that they have and had at that time was distribution by creating additional stores. Okay, so I want you to think of your DAC business as if you're creating franchise opportunities in a way. We're not franchised, but it is very much like opening a new store. When you recruit an agent who lives in a new city, that agent potentially could create that customer base, just like a brand new Domino's opening up in Dallas, Georgia, or a new Domino's open up in Alpharetta, Georgia, or Dallas, Texas. It creates a new customer base that they are going to potentially reach out to, right? So let's take a look at the numbers of Domino's. I pulled this up off of the site. I saw the site on there and I don't see it now to give credit to them, but this was a recent map for 2022 talking about how many Domino's locations there are in the United States as of this year, right? It says they have 6,571 locations, and you can see the more populated cities on the Northeast coast there have many, many more locations. They're in 51 states and territories in 3,221 cities, okay? So again, I talk about Domino's just to get you to think about our business model and recruiting other agents as if you're opening up your own DAC store in another community or in another state. It has that same ability if you're recruiting quality people, right? And the reason that we recruit massive numbers of people is because we're sifting through a needle in the haystack, so to speak, as one of the ZipRecruiter. I think that's their tagline, helping you find the needle in a haystack, right? I hear their commercials on the radio, but sometimes it takes a lot of people to come through our system before we find those right recruits. So I encourage you to always be on the lookout, and don't think that when you're asking someone to take a look at this opportunity that you're recruiting someone and getting them involved in one of those things. We're not one of those things. We're a real business opportunity. And if you've not received your first commission check here, you may not have the faith and belief in it like I do, and so many others on the team who have gotten some really big commission checks just by helping a business owner get funding. But we're more of a traditional business doing the non-traditional work from home model instead of having expensive overhead like a franchise with Domino's, right? So let's talk about the recruiting. If you've been around DAC for longer than 60 days, then pay attention. We've got what we call the auto engaged incentive, and it is back. This is a promotion that David has run many times over the past couple of years since we launched past year since we launched the engaged qualification. And what it does is if you've been in the business over 60 days and have not had a personal funded client, then you're not engaged according to the compensation plan. But this auto engaged incentive is going to allow you to recruit new agents and get paid on them as if you were actually engaged according to the comp plan. Okay, so you're automatically engaged on any new agents that you recruit during the month of May through the 31st at midnight, and you're gonna get paid on any funded deals that they get in their first 30 days. Okay, so recruit. Don't be holding back on that. Our recruiting numbers are not what they were a few months back. So I think people have gotten so excited about the new promotions on our products that they're focused more on product gathering than agents. And I think you just need to do both in your daily conversations with folks. Okay, so let's talk about engage. For those of you that are new, and I know we have a lot of you here, our compensation terminology can be confusing. So let's talk about what it takes to earn that enroller bonus, that enroller matching bonus, and what engaged qualification is. There are three ways to qualify. One, you're automatically engaged when you sign up as a new agent. Your first 60 days, you're considered engaged, and you're eligible to earn that matching bonus on anybody that you recruit and bring to the table as a DAC agent. You get a new or renewal client, then your clock starts ticking for the next 60 days, right? You're automatically engaged during that 60 days after getting a new or a renewal client. And then the third way to get qualified is to have 6 customer finance clients that are consistently on the books, and active customer finance clients. So those are the 3 ways right now to get engaged. So again, if you're not engaged according to this part of the comp plan, the auto engaged portion of it will allow you to get paid for recruiting new agents who get funding. So let's talk again about that Domino's business model and growing that share. Okay. When you're engaged or the auto engaged promotion, the revenue share that you can earn when you bring in a new agent is 25 to 50% of what they make. Now, back to the Domino's conversation. When I went through franchise development school, Domino's as a company makes 5.5%, what they call royalties, off of every store that is owned by a franchisee. So they get 5.5% of the sales revenue that is generated, and the franchisee gets to keep the remaining 94.5% to cover their costs and expenses, payroll, etc. Right? But here, if you are the one who is like the franchisee and is enrolling other agents in our program, you actually get to make 25 up to 50% match on what revenue they do. So it's a much better model. Plus, you don't have the overhead, you don't have the expense, and you don't have any employees to deal with. You don't have people to pay. DAC takes care of all of that. So just want to bring you back. This is a page out of the Super Saturday handbook that is in the Agent Resource Center. And I don't think we talk about the ability to make a huge income off of building a team quite enough. This next screen is mind-boggling to me as far as how much revenue share you could earn. Okay, so what if you had 10 direct recruits, direct agency partners that signed up as an agent through your link, who each were averaging $50,000 a year? Okay, 10 of those at $50,000 a year would be a combined income of $500,000 for your frontline agents, the personally enrolled agents. And you're entitled to either 0, 25, or 50%. Let's break that down. If you're not engaged and you're not getting customers and getting yourself qualified, then you don't earn any matching bonus. This is a results-based compensation plan. If you are engaged and you have a customer in the past 60 days, then you're going to earn a 25% match on the income of those 10 agencies, which could be $125,000 income to you just for going and getting a client every 60 days. Now, how many of you would go get a client one client every 60 days for $125,000? I bet if I could see hands raised right now, every one of you would have your hand raised, right? You'd be going, well, I'd be stupid not to go find a client to be able to make that kind of money, right? Well, that's the kind of income opportunity that we have here at DAC. But to get even better, that same $500,000 earnings that your partners are making, if you're amped up, meaning you have a client every 30 days, one new client every 30 days instead of 60, that qualifies you for double commission. So instead of making $125,000 match, you could make a $250,000 match on what they did. Come on now. Everybody needs to think about a plan to get in place to get a client, not one every 30 days, because I tell you what, that 30 days can roll around quickly. You need to create a target plan so that you're working towards getting a client a week at a minimum, right? That keeps you amped up and that keeps you earning bigger income as you're starting to build your team. But guys, this compensation plan is ridiculous if you just sit down and put some numbers together. And that's why I wanted to bring this chart up tonight, okay? Just to get you thinking outside the box. And also, I get this question over and over again. People saying, well, I really don't want to build a team until I've had a client and gotten a funded deal. I want to make sure it's working. Guys, it's working, okay? There are many of us who have our own funding stories that we can share with you on the success that we're having with our own clients and the success that our clients are having, because DAC is able to get them the money that they need for the project or the expansion or the payroll that they need to cover, right? So it's working. Don't worry about trying to get your own funded deal before you start recruiting. Do like me and do like Harlequin. We both got started. I got started on day one. I brought someone else into the business with me. I had a friend of mine looking at the business opportunity as I was looking at it, trying to decide if I wanted to get started. He signed up and he put in a ton of people. He's not really active with us today, but I know at some point in the future, he will be active again because of the things that are happening in our business, right? He got sidetracked with another business, and I know that he will come back because the way our comp plan is built, he can come back at any point and really kind of pick up where he left off with just a bigger team, and he can get himself qualified, and then he can start earning on that team that he brought to the table 4 years ago, got started 4 years ago, the same day that I did. All right. And then Harlequin, she told her story on her agent of the month interview, where she'd been in the business for quite some time before she got her first funded deal. So that thinking that you need to get a client before you start recruiting is clouded thinking on my, as far as I'm concerned, because it's proven time and time again that if you'll start recruiting and have a team, even if you're not having success, it gives you some encouragement and some something to look forward to, and you're having to learn at a different level. If you recruit someone, now you got someone that you're responsible for. So you need to learn the system. You need to be a walking, talking DAC billboard and a walking, talking DAC Bible as far as knowing how our products work, right? So it really makes you a better DAC agent if you're recruiting and if you're getting engaged with those new recruits, because the best way for you to learn something is to be a trainer and have to train someone else, because then you have to know everything before you can teach it, right? So the best part of our system is you don't have to know everything. We can help you earn while you're learning. I'm happy to get on calls, do three-way calls. I do them every single day. I answer questions for agents and help you, if you're building a team, help you get to that point to where you can be the one that's kind of taking that lead role that I do in time, right? But there's no set time limit on that. All right, so enough on that, but let's talk about recruiting and who a great prospect is. And this came up today on our leadership Zoom that David was leading, and one of our agents was talking about how he would get the emails that he got notification that someone had started the Bank Breezy submission, right? And we talked about this last week. I went through the breakdown of that, but I want to give you a different slant on it today. I'm gonna take a drink of water real quick. Put a different slant on it. So last week, I was taking you through this email that we receive when someone applies to kind of get you to look at that big picture and understand the email. But today, when Brian made a comment about using that email to reach out to people, it popped in my mind that these are great prospects for recruiting. So let me take you through this. So you get that Bank Breezy submission started when someone starts the form on your website. It gives you their name, their phone number, and their email address. So you got their contact information. So whether this is someone you know personally or whether they've just filled out a form on a link that they saw on social media or Craigslist or Google pay-per-click or wherever they found you, you've got their contact information. The next page here is the details. And this first paragraph, as I covered last week, is the most important piece outside of who that contact is, the most important piece of where they fit in the puzzle of our application and qualification process for funding, right? So it says they stated their lowest revenue in the last 3 months was $3,000 to $5,000, and they have a personal bank account. So if we go down under the qualifications there, it says that they were sent to the Giggle app sequence if their lowest month was 3,000 to 15, which it was, and they have a personal bank account. So both of those qualified this particular client for a gig application. So my thought was, well, if you're calling them to ask them how the application sequence went, which is what Brian recommended, he said, yeah, I just call them up and ask them, how did it go? Did they have any problems? Kind of talk them through. And also, it's a good time for you to make sure that they ended up on the right application. Okay. I had a gentleman that called me. I always say, put your phone number out there. If you're running ads, put your phone number out there other than just at the top of your website. Had a gentleman call me yesterday. He found me here locally in Atlanta. And when I got to talking with him, he met all of the qualifications. He had a business checking account. He had a 550 plus credit score. He'd been in business for a year, and he was doing about $12,000 to $13,000 a month. So if I had sent him just straight through that application, he would have ended up going over to Biddy Advance, because he would have answered that he was doing between $5,000 and $15,000 a month. Okay, but because I talked to him and I found out what his track record is on his business revenue, when he told me he's doing 12 to 13, and I had him look at his last 3 months and his lowest month was 12.5, I said, listen, I'm going to send you an application link. And when you fill out that application, I want you to select, I said, even though you're not doing it, you're not doing 15,000 to 50. I said, I want you to select that link on the application, because that's going to take you over to our bigger funding with our in-house team, and they will work to get you the best offer. Now, let me clarify why I did that, right? I did that because of my knowledge about our product, and I took him over there because I know that our in-house team can work with someone that's doing 12,000 a month. And I didn't want him just to go straight over to the Biddy Advance application where it's really cut and dried, and he qualified for our bigger funding. So I walked him through that to get him over to that application. And sure enough, we got him in there today. He got all of his paperwork uploaded, and I hope to hear an answer tomorrow that we can help him get what he's looking for. Had another gentleman call me today, same thing. He's doing about 20,000 a month. And after talking to him, he's got a big tractor trailer that's broken down, and he needs money to get the repair done on his truck. So back to our funding and our process, and whether it's a good value or not, it's all based on the business owner, their situation, what they're going to do with the money. David's always talking about the value and the cost of the funds versus the value of it. I had 2 examples there today that are great examples of why our funding is such a great solution. Okay, so this particular person that would have gotten sent directly over to the Giggle app is a great prospect for the business. So if I were going back up, I would take a look, and I'm going, okay, this person got sent to gig worker, which chances are they do have a side gig, right? Or they've got a small business that they're just getting started with, but they have, most importantly, that entrepreneurial spirit. They have figured out how to make money outside of collecting a paycheck from an employer. And those are the kind of folks that are open to a business opportunity such as DAC. So I would encourage those that you're getting those applications in and they're coming over and they're getting sent over to Giggle, talk to them a minute about their business and ask them how things are going, and say, well, let me ask you a question. We're looking for quality agents to do what I'm doing. Do you keep your options open for making money outside of what you're currently doing? And if they say yes, you don't have to tell them the story. Just send them over to your DAC partner link, davidallencapital.com/partner/your ID, and let David Rutz tell the story about the business opportunity here, right? So this next one, again, an example from last week is showing that they're doing 5,000 to 15,000, but they got a personal account. Again, they're going to get sent straight over to the Giggle app sequence, right? And they may be on the lower side of that $5,000 to $15,000 window. So again, this is someone that might be a great opportunity to have that conversation with about, what do you do? How did you get started here? And do you keep your options open? We're looking for quality folks. And you can tell by the conversation on the phone whether this is someone that you would really want to work with or not. So I'm not saying it's for everybody, because I get calls from people I can barely understand what they're saying. And if I can't understand them, I know they're going to have a hard time getting the message out about DAC, right? But good opportunity for you to just take the information that's coming in and turn it into a recruiting opportunity with those folks that are applying in the first place for funding. And we can show them if they didn't qualify for funding, if they get started with us, they might be able to make some quick cash here that would more than make up for the funding that they were trying to get in the first place through DAC. All right. Okay, guys, that's what I wanted to cover. I'm going to open up like I always do for questions. If you have a question at this point, you can raise your hand, question, comment, concern. Just raise your hand under the hand raise button down at the bottom of your screen. And Harlequin, do you have anything that you want to add while we're waiting to see if anybody has questions? As you're out in beautiful Las Vegas.
I know, and I'm so bummed that I'll have to post pictures in the Facebook group, but yeah, I switched hotels to a different hotel tonight.
Awesome. You're in
yeah.
that beautiful resort that you showed me.
Yes. And I don't see any questions in the chat. So you know, I will tell people, if you are traveling, to go and check out the DAC Travel, because last night I stayed at Caesar's Palace. Normally the rooms are $300 a night, and that's what, when I booked it, when I went onto their website, that's what it would have cost me. I got it for $100.
Sweet.
So yeah, so definitely a perk, especially if you're coming to Vegas. But
okay, explain that. Explain how you did that and how DAC Travel works for those, because we've got so many new agents or agents that have been here but have never used that. So explain that process if you don't mind.
No problem. Yeah, if you go to dactravel.com, and it will ask you for your agent ID number and your password, and that's all you have to put in there. So, and then you just go and do a search as to what city you're wanting to go into, and it will tell you what the rates are. And there were some rates that were even cheaper, but I was like, the difference between me getting a 5-star resort and getting, you know, one of those typical budget rate things, the base rate for me was only $39. You know, they have a $50 resort fee and then their taxes. But I think the cheapest room was $17 plus resort fees for a night. And I booked that on Thursday or Friday night for Sunday night. So
yeah, that's a great story. Yeah, so
yeah.
I know everybody gets the dactravel.com link in their welcome email from corporate, right? But a lot of people don't understand how to use it. It's not a customer facing site. It is only for our use as DAC agents. So it's a perk for us being an agent here, where we get that discounted wholesale pricing through that travel site. So when you go in and search, like Harlequin said, it's going to be very much like going to Travelocity or anywhere else where you're just shopping, and it'll pull up a list of hotels that are available for the particular dates that you're traveling, and then you can select the amenities that you want to go with it. So thank you. Congratulations on your win. I know you won a contest. You had to do some competition here to get out there on this trip to see Tony Robbins. So real proud of you. And I can't wait to see what you come back. David said today, you're going to come back on fire from seeing Tony Robbins and being in that environment. Oh, yeah. And I can't wait to see what you do with your DAC business when you get back with that new level of enthusiasm about business in general from what you're going to gain out there. So it's going to be good stuff.
Well, and ironically enough, my roommate that is with me tonight is a DAC agent.
How about that?
She didn't know about the funding. She was like, oh, I'm in that insurance thing. So the group of people that she's with are just doing health insurance. So
oh, wow.
Anyway, so she's learned some new stuff today.
That's awesome. Awesome. All right, good deal. Well, I've got Richard with his hand up. I'm going to ask you to unmute. Richard, how are you doing tonight?
Good. How are you doing tonight, Ellen?
I'm good. Thank you.
I had a quick question about, I like your suggestion to be able to reach out to the applicants as far as recruiting them. But I just wanted to make sure that I am not doing anything wrong in that I'm thinking I'd like to put all their information in an email list and put them right on my email, automated email list. Because I also market some other products, and my whole intention is to develop a long-term relationship and be able to offer them other financial or business services down the road.
Sure. And I think we talked about this, but this is a great question in front of everyone. We have a lot of people that come in that have other businesses to start with, right? As long as you're not marketing a competing product or trying to take someone out of DAC and into another direct selling or network marketing company, you're fine marketing other services to them. So you could do that for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And Richard, did I pronounce your last name correctly when I announced you were on the
Yes,
leaderboard?
Jarrell does. You're correct.
Jarrell does. Okay. I used the H instead of the G, but Jarrell did. Okay.
It's whether you're pronouncing it in English or Spanish.
Got it. Okay. Awesome. Well, congratulations. Thanks for your question.
Sure.
All right. And I have Dewey with her hand up. I'm going to ask you to unmute. How are you doing tonight, Dewey?
Hi, how you doing?
Good, good.
I have a question. I saw in the email about a shelter link and you get paid for it.
About what now?
Like I saw something about if you share the link, you could get credit for it. What does that mean?
Share the link. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. I saw it in the email. About if you share the link, then you get credit for it.
I'm not sure what you're referencing entirely.
Cause when I got the email about letting me know about the different Zoom meetings, I saw in the body of the email about if you share a link, then you could get credit for it.
No, at the very bottom of my email underneath my signature, is that what you're talking
Yes.
about?
Yeah.
Okay. No, it's not about you getting credit for sharing a link. It's about, if you watch that video, it's my video teaching you how to share all of your links and making sure that your agent ID number is properly positioned at the end of that link before it ever leaves your computer. That's what that is. It took me a minute to catch on to what you were referring to, but that's exactly what it is. And guys, if y'all have not seen the video that she's talking about, I've got it titled like "Get Paid for Your Work," right? And it just explains the cookies on our website and making sure that you get paid by having your referral code at the end of your links. So yeah, thanks for that question.
Thank you.
Dewey. Yeah, you bet.
No
Anything
problem.
else?
Welcome.
I'm gonna lower your hand.
No.
Okay, awesome. All right, anybody else with a question or a comment before we wrap up? We went really long last week. We had lots of interaction and questions at the end, and tonight we got a quiet group. Anybody have a success story they want to sell? I see Janelle's got her hand up.
Oh, we do have one question in the Zoom or in the chat.
Okay, let me get Janelle real quick and then we'll come to that one, okay? Since I just said that we have her hand up, I'm going to ask her to unmute. Hey, Janelle, how are you tonight?
I'm wonderful, Ellen. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
I just wanted to find out. I hadn't been getting any emails lately, so I was wondering if you were putting them out. The only emails that I'm getting are the ones for the Monday leadership calls. Have you been sending any? I'm just trying to make sure I'm not missing anything.
Yeah. So over the past 3 or 4 days, I sent one out on Saturday, I believe, which was the replay of Friday Zoom. So I sent an email out on Saturday and I sent one out today, which was the reminder that we had 2 Zooms today. If you did not get both of those, if you double check your spam, if you did not get both of those, shoot me an email and I'll see what might be going on that you're not getting those anymore.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for the question. And thanks for looking for my emails. All right. Okay, Harlequin, sorry about that. Go ahead with your comment on the chat there or question.
Okay. From Victoria Willis, she says, did I hear correctly on this morning Zoom that we have digital drop cards? If so, where do I find that?
Yeah, you did. So what David was referencing is anytime you use your phone or you post a link on social media, when you do davidallencapital.com/your ID, or better yet, if you're wanting to market specifically, he referenced the partner page. If you do davidallencapital.com/partner/your ID number, and you text that out to someone, or you post it on social media, it's automatically going to populate the image that goes with it. And the image says earn hefty commissions, become a DAC agent. So it really creates a digital billboard for you. And that's what he was referring to, that's a digital drop card, because the image is populated there, and then it's a clickable link for them to go straight over to your website. So you can do that with any page on your website, and each page, meaning the tabs, the self-employed tab or the gig worker funding tab, the business capital, the line of credit, each of those are going to create a different, what we call a social image that gets populated as that little mini billboard. But that's where they are. It's absolutely free. It's a part of your web link, but it automatically pulls up when you send out a text or post it on social media. Good question. Anything else there? Harlequin, if you're talking, you're muted.
Yeah, no, I have to switch. I'm working from my phone because the Wi-Fi it wasn't stable enough here in the room.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, that was all of the questions in there, except I did get a message from James Doswell saying why I didn't choose the $20 Motel 6 room. It's because there's still that $50 resort fee. So it would have been $70 to get that, and versus $100 for Caesars.
Yeah, and
So,
I think James was being very facetious with that comment too.
was.
I can hear him laughing now. There he is, see?
I just had I couldn't pass that up. Okay, when she said $17, I was like, oh man, get the $20 Motel 6. Okay, you spend a.
James, you are a mess, buddy. But I knew I could hear you laughing, and you could barely contain yourself. So thank you for sharing that laughter. And
Yeah,
Harlequin, I could see you there for a minute. I saw your camera. There you go. Showing
That's
us
the review for my room.
Yeah, I love it.
Gorgeous place here.
Awesome.
But-
Well, in a couple of weeks, I'll be showing y'all outside my office window from my phone, as we start doing Zooms from the big house instead of the little apartment that I'm living in right now. So remind me of that, Harlequin, when I get situated over there, and I will.
Okay.
Awesome,
All right.
because I have my own resort in my backyard here with my new home. It's just still under remodel stage, and haven't completely gotten over there, but good stuff ahead. All right, guys. Well, no more questions, no more comments. Really appreciate you taking time out of your Monday, as always, to be here with us tonight. Just keep promoting the opportunity, promoting to your team. If you are recruiting, encourage them to get plugged in, encourage them to be on the lookout for video replays. If they can't be here live, at least watch the replays, because it's important that we stay plugged into the information. David talked about the new pay card system that's coming, or actually checking account system that's coming. That's probably coming here in the next 10 days or so. We'll be doing a training on that. That's really exciting. That's going to be a product we'll be able to market. I don't need to go into the details. You can go back and watch today's Zoom. I'll send today's replay from the leadership Zoom out. I'll send that out along with the replay of this when it is ready to go. And I do have a hand up here from Juan. I'm going to ask you to unmute. How are you doing?
Fine, and you? I'm sorry.
Good.
I'm brand new. Actually, I signed in yesterday at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Excellent.
And,
Welcome.
Thank you. I've been looking at all our products and everything, and I want to know if there is any like brochures that we can find for the for the credit card and you know, the merchant services and the health insurance, because I'm an insurance agent and that's a good way for me to go into the business to start.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, we do have some brochures on the, if you go over to dachealthcare.com, there are some brochures over there that you can download. As far as other brochure type information, we're rehauling or overhauling that right now. We just launched this new Bank Breezy umbrella product for all of our funding. So a lot of our drop cards and marketing materials are kind of out of date now. So they're redoing that. David was asked the question today, how soon they would be ready. He said at least a couple of weeks, because by the time we get them back from our designer, which we have an in-house designer now, by the time they do that, it gets approved, then it goes over to our printer, and our printer is going to take a little bit of time to get that set up for their mass duplication, accepting our order. So I wouldn't expect those will be available until sometime early June at the earliest. As you know, that's just a couple of weeks around the corner. But yeah, you can find those DAC healthcare brochures there. Also, if you look in the Agent Resource Center, there are some information sheets about our payment processing. You might find something there that is useful, but I like sending people over to the website, just having a generic. He did mention that on the drop cards that he's looking at creating a all-encompassing drop card. I had recommended 2 years ago that we have a brochure for all of our products, but our products keep changing. We keep adding more products, and if we keep adding more products and have a brochure that is specific to all of them more than a generic one, then it becomes obsolete quickly. So I like the direction they're headed, where they're going to have a drop card that covers that we do business services and listing some of the things that we do, but not so much in detail about what the requirements are, because our funding requirements, the amounts we're doing are much higher than they used to be, and the requirements to get qualified for funding are much lower than they used to be, because we have new partners. So that's on the horizon very quickly, Juan. But welcome to DAC. I'm really glad that you're here on our team Zoom the day after you got signed up. So either you're Enroller or did a good job of pointing that out, or you are great at following instructions. Either way, we're glad you're here. So thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, guys, no more questions or comments. So we'll go ahead and wrap up. But again, thank you. We'll have another Zoom on Friday. David will be announcing the Agent of the Month this coming Friday. And I understand that this is someone that's not been with DAC for a very long time, but they're having tremendous success. So I look forward to seeing that announcement. And we've had a record month. We're in the middle of already having another record month. As a team, last month was our record month. When we finish out May, I'm going to be posting some numbers and kind of take you through the 4-year progression of my business to show you what numbers that I have achieved as a team, not me by myself, but you guys helping me achieve the team numbers that we have, just to kind of paint that picture so that you can see what is possible. Okay, so we'll be doing that in the near future. All right, thanks everybody. Y'all have a blessed evening. Have fun, Harlequin. We'll see you guys on Friday on our next Zoom. Take care.